friends, and welcome to another episode of TBR Scavenger Hunt. Bookshelf Scavenger Hunt. We're going on a scavenger hunt and I have 15 brand new questions, okay? I was sick of doing the same ones all the time, so we did get some new questions that I'm quite excited about. And again, it is 15 questions. I'm so sick of spam phone calls. At least phones now know that they're spam and it doesn't ring, but it just pees me out, you know what I'm saying? So, we have got 15, or 14, I lied. 14, we've got 14 questions. I thought it was 15, but evidently it's 14. Okay. If you are not sure how this works, basically I have a list of all the questions on my phone. If I remember, I'll put them in the description down below so you can do this. And even if you don't film the videos, like, do the questions and let me know where you end up and what your next read is. But the first question will give me a book, and then the next question will have me use that book that I just picked to pick the next book, and they're all kind of connected until at the end we end up with what book we are going to read in this video. So the first question is, pick a book that you've read and loved. This will be your starting point. You just can't see, right here is my, some of my favorite books. Anything that's facing outward for the most part is a favorite. So a book that I have read and loved. I feel like I don't ever talk about this book, but I read it, I think, before I was really making videos. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I have the, fancy edition. I love Evelyn. It's so pretty. My husband got it for me for Christmas. And this is, so the next question is, look at the publisher on this book and find another book on the shelf from the same publisher. This is Atria Books. So, hopefully we can find something else from there. I already see one right here, but it's kind of on the bottom of a stack. So I'd like to find something that's easier to grab, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, this one. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I think this book is incredibly overhyped. I did give it a 4-star when I read it, but I think it's really more of a 3-star, but I felt scared to be truthful because everybody loves it as much. From this book, check the year that it was published and find a book from the same year. This is maybe 2023 would be my guess. 2023, baby. Okay, so I just need to find another 2023 release. I do think that the only one left came out in 2023, which this is my favorite Riley Sager book. I think this is the 2023 release. I could be wrong, but we will check and see. 2023, baby. I knew it, I knew it. Flip to the last page of this book. Find another book with the same word somewhere in the title or a blurb. Okay, that's kind of hard. So the last page, I think I'm just going to say a word from the last page of the book. It doesn't have to be the final word. Unless it's a easy one, I'll say. It's a letter. I'm not going to go with the name on the letter because A, that's spoilery, and B, I'm not going to find that. But the last word on the last page is again. So, I think I may be able to find a book that has again in the title. I shouldn't have put this away in case I can't, but I think again doesn't seem too difficult. Let's see. Listen for the live. Perfect, by Kate Goldbeck. I did quite enjoy this book. It has kind of a lower rating on Goodreads. I liked it, but I'm learning through lately that I just think I might have bad taste. But this is about a bisexual woman and a man, and they were both dating the same girl, and they just keep running into each other over and over again. Take the second word from your new book's title. Find another book where that word appears anywhere in the synopsis. Well, the word is still again. So I gotta find a book that has, again, somewhere in the synopsis. Freaking again is just coming for me. Yeah, we're gonna go with Again and Again. It's not in the synopsis, but it's in the title, and I can't be bothered to keep looking, so that's where we're at. Now look at the main character's first initial. Find a book with a main character with the same first initial. The main characters in this book is Eugene and Angel. So an E or a A. I think I already know what I'm gonna pick because I know off the top of my head a book with a character whose main character's name does start with E. And we've got Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams. Our main character is Emily. So we got that. From that book, note where the primary setting is and find a location 500 miles from that location. This takes place in Kentucky. Okay, so we can do West Virginia, regular Virginia, Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. So we have plenty of options, thankfully. And I tend to read a lot of books that take place in Illinois. And I've got the perfect option over here. Mile High. This is a sports romance that takes place in Chicago, so we'll say Illinois. Compare the setting. Now find a book in the opposite setting. If it's a city, then, or urban versus rural, cold versus hot, earth versus space. This takes place in a big city in Chicago, so maybe something that takes place in the country or a small town. I have a perfect pick. Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is a small town yeehaw cowboy romance. Definitely opposite settings than Mile High, without a doubt. Look at the dedication page. Find another book that's dedicated to somebody with the same name or the same relationship, like if it's mother, whatever. This one's for her dad. So we gotta find a book dedicated to somebody's father. I got one. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose is dedicated to Dad. Sorry, this one's not a zombie book. Love your fourth favorite child. We did it. Oh, okay. On the shelf that this was on, find the book with the shortest page count on that shelf. Let me go put her back. I already know which one's the shortest. Would be Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. It's like 250 pages-ish. And then the next question is, look at the page number and check the book's page count and then find a book that has roughly the same amount of pages, but reversed. So this has 243, so I need to find a book that's 342-ish pages, which should be easy. I will say anything between like 330 and 360 will count for this. I keep really wanting to pick up Promise Me Sunshine. I think it's gonna be too long. 390. Yeah, no. Too long indeed. Mariana Zapata, way too long. Way too long. We could go with maybe Keep Your Friends Close. Nope, that's only 260. I need something kind of in the middle of those 2 books. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this one? No, 380. We need like 340-ish. What about this one? Something tells me it's way too long. Way too long. Way too long. Maybe this. This one might be good. 341. That's perfect. And that's going to be Definitely Better Now by Ava Robinson. This was another 5-star read of mine. I loved it. From the book, check the spine color and find a book that's a completely different spine color. I'm going to go to color wheel opposites. What's the opposite of red is green. So I will grab a green book. A book with a green spine, and we have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren is very green. Look up the Goodreads average rating of that book and find another book within, like, that has the same average rating. So something that's close. The Paradise Problem has a 4.08 average. So I need to think of something on my bookshelves that are going to be around a 4-star. So we'll try a couple. I'm going to look up Bright Young Woman. I'm pretty sure that is very well liked. 3.99, that's pretty close. The favorites I think might be too well liked. No, that works because the first one was 4.08 and this one's 4.1. So I would say that that is close enough to count. So that would get us to the favorites. And then finally, from this book, take the first letter of the author's name and find a book whose title starts with that. So I need to find a book that's title begins with the letter L. So let's get to it. There's nothing but to do but to get to it. You know what I mean? I don't think I have really anything on my series shelf that begins with an L that I'm on, so we're not gonna worry about that. We've got The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. I have been wanting to read that. The Last Flight by Julie Clark. The Love Con. You know what? This one kind of is striking my fancy because I just went to a convention, and so I think... actually, no. Because I have a skip-the-line copy of this book on what's it called? On Goodreads, or on Libby right now. We're going to read Love, Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is the last book of hers that I own that I have not read. I'm not super interested in like her more erotic books, like Not in Love. And then I know Problematic Summer Romance is like a second in that series, so I feel like I have to read the first to read the second. And I'm not interested in Bride at all. And then Deep End, I'm kind of like take it or leave it. But I am excited to get into this. This is a STEM romance. We have our physicist Elsie Hanaway, and by day, she's a professor toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics in the hopes of landing tenure, but by other day, Elsie makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend. Oh my god. I love fake dating, so I think this is going to be a good one. Let's get to it. Okay guys, we're about halfway through this bad boy, The Love Theoretically. So basically we have our main character Elsie, and she is working as an adjunct professor, barely making ends meet, and she does have type 1 diabetes, and she's basically like desperately needs a job that's going to provide her insurance to like handle her medical needs. and she is interviewing for this amazing job that she really, really wants. And on the side, she does this little gig where she can be hired to be people's fake girlfriends. She has this one reoccurring client. But basically, so she has met this guy Jack before because she has been fake dating his brother at a couple of different events, but he doesn't know that Elsie's fake dating his brother. And the Elsie that goes to these events says that she's a librarian. So whenever she shows up at his place of work to start interviewing for this job, he's like pissed because he thinks that she's been lying to his brother this whole time, XYZ, all of these things. And now we're to the point where he kind of knows why. He knows that they were fake dating, and he knows why, and all of these other things. And he's been able to finally admit to her that he's been really struggling because he's been attracted to her this whole time, and he felt like a really bad person for being attracted to his brother's girlfriend. And it was this whole, like, inner crisis that he had been having. And so where we're at now, we find out that Elsie did not get the job, and she was never going to get the job, and we find out why. And she's just really upset, and now we're at this point where there's kind of like a snowstorm, and she is at his house, and there's gonna be like a little one-bed trope. We already see it coming. And I'm liking it so far. It's honestly feeling kind of like a 3 at the moment. I'm not sure if it's gonna pick up. If that's the case, if I've had a 3-star, a 4-star, and a 5-star from Elsie Silver, or not Elsie Silver, the character's name is Elsie, from Ali Hazelwood. I gave The Love Hypothesis 3-star, I gave Love on the Brain 4-star, and I gave Check and Mate 5-star. So that's where I'm at currently with Miss Ali and this book. It's good enough so far, but I'm not obsessed with it. You know what I mean? I love her female characters. Like, I love Elsie as a character, but I'm not super sold on her and Jack together. Alrighty, guys. The scavenger hunt has finished. We have finished Love Theoretically, and it stayed a 3. It unfortunately did. I feel like Ali Hazelwood is very hit or miss for me, and I've met Ali. She's so sweet, so kind. Absolutely love her as a person. But maybe it's just these like science books are not like super for me. I thought that this was pretty boring, and I didn't super see the connection between Jack and Elsie, but I really liked Elsie as a character going after her dream job and like finding her place in this male-dominated field. I really enjoyed that aspect, but I just didn't love them together. It gave me the same feelings that I had when I read The Love Hypothesis with Olive and Adam. I also didn't love that one, and I feel like my favorite is the Love on the Brain, the pink one. Love on the Brain is my favorite, and we did have like a tiny like sprinkling of B, which is the main character in that book. They're like, oh yeah, like so-and-so is gonna meet up with her friend B. Oh my god, I squealed. I loved that. But I feel like that one being my favorite of her adult books. My favorite book by her is Check and Mate, which is her YA book. And then my second favorite is Love on the Brain. And I feel like that's everybody's least favorite of her STEM books. I feel like everybody likes this one and The Love Hypothesis more. And I gave both of them 3 stars. And they were just like very middle of the road romances for me. Nothing like, I guarantee you I'm never gonna think about this book again. And I finished it. I finished this yesterday, and like the plot of it is already leaving my brain because I just did not care. I'm glad that Elsie got her happy ever after. I'm glad things worked out for her, but there was nothing memorable about this story. It was just like a book that I've read and I feel kind of nothing towards. So it was a 3-star. I'm glad to have read it. Another one checked off the TBR. This also matches my outfit. But that will be all for today's scavenger hunt. Let me know if your ranking of the books that you've read by Ali Hazelwood. My ranking, my definitive rating as of right now of the 4 Ali Hazelwood books that I have read is Check and Mate, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically, The Love Hypothesis is probably how it goes. Another thing that I can't get past, so I have aphantasia. If you don't know what that is, I don't visualize things in my brain, so I don't visualize characters. I just kind of like, if they describe the character, I associate them with something. Like, for example, with The Love Hypothesis, everybody says that it's Kylo and Rey fanfic, so I just could only picture Adam as think is that his name? The guy, main character, I think it's Adam Driver, is like who Adam is supposed to be like after, and he is not my cup of tea. So the whole time I'm reading that book, I'm like, but I think he's ugly, so I'm not into this. So I think that also is like a big reason that book didn't really work out for me, is because of like just having such an association with that person. But yeah, I don't know, this book felt also a bit too long. Like I didn't think it's needed to be almost 400 pages. Like I think 340 would have been fine. But that's all I have today for you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.